understand that the Supreme Court has stayed the Madras High Court order in terms of rejecting Maran's bail plea. So remember that the Madras High Court order had cancelled his anticipatory bail and asked him to surrender in 3 days to face charges of having an illegal telephone exchange in his house during his years in office between 2004 and 2007. In fact, let's just address this news really quick. We have Ashmit joining in to apprise us of the latest. Ashmit, go ahead.
So in major relief now coming in for Dayanidhi Maran, the Supreme Court has clearly held that it's too early to seek arrest of a former minister at this stage, and that there's no reason for such action, and that towards that end the Supreme Court has stayed the operation of the Madras High Court order. The Madras High Court on 10th of August, which is just earlier this week on Monday, had rejected the anticipatory bail application of Dayanidhi Maran. But here are the takeaways from the hearing. The Supreme Court coming down very hard on the government. The Supreme Court observing that, one, it appears to be too early. The government appears to be overeager to go ahead and to make this arrest. That there appears to be other reasons why the government seems to be pursuing such a hard line. The Supreme Court also observed that the government should be wary, should be careful of pursuing political vendetta. So some very strong, the tone and the tenor, the language of the Supreme Court being used here. The Supreme Court went on to add that it is a clear case of the Marans being political opponents and then now being pursued by the current dispensation, by the current government. That's the broad sum and substance of the hearing today. The Attorney General, however, appearing for the government, continued to argue that this is a conspiracy, that this is a case of corruption, corruption as defined under the Prevention of Corruption Act, that there is an active conspiracy. There was an active conspiracy between the former Telecom Minister Dayanidhi Maran and officials of BSNL in installing an illegal exchange, and that this exchange, these many phone lines were designed to assist the business interests of Dayanidhi Maran, of Sun TV, and that's the allegation that the government is putting across, but not managing to cut any ice. The Supreme Court, in turn, reprimanding the government for pursuing political vendetta, and by doing so has stayed the operation of the Madras High Court order. We now have to wait for further cues on September 14th. That's when this case will come up for the hearing. But for now, a major relief coming in for Dayanidhi Maran, who was potentially looking at an arrest, at the possibility of an arrest, had the order not been stayed. So that has clearly been put off, and a big relief coming in for Dayanidhi Maran.
Ashmit, thanks a lot.